Hello world, Matthew here, coming to you with a fourth installment in my Mind Program Journal. As of this recording, I've had another 4 sessions, bringing the grand total up to 20, and I'm here to give you some of the results. On August 20th, I had my 17th session, and as things have been progressing, I have noticed that I have a steadily increasing ability to not just contain, but to really understand my emotions so much better. I'm having fewer emotional outbursts, and each time that I do have one, it seems to be with less and less severity, that I'm able to get more control better and better. And as I said at the end of my last video, when I was in the process of changing my old business model, Monster Health and Fitness, to this new one, Hero's Breath, there was a period where I was stuck and it had caused a lot of agitation because all the energy and focus and drive that the Mind Program has been helping me to attain had nowhere to go. Now it has somewhere to go, and I have to say that I have never been more focused and more driven in my entire life. And that's not just for the things that I enjoy doing, it's also for the things I don't like to do. I have found that, at least since my 17th session, I have much more mental energy to deal with the things that most of us don't want to deal with. Paperwork, errands, spending money on things I would rather not. My inhibitions in those regards are greatly diminished, and I could just get done what I have to get done. And while I have worked to attain that ability throughout much of my life, at least since I was diagnosed with ADHD, now it's just so much easier. It feels like there are fewer and fewer mental blocks to getting done exactly what I need to. Now, thankfully, this trend continued after my 18th session on August 27th. I continue to be focused, I continue to be driven, and I'm starting to have my emotions more and more in check. But after my 19th session on September 3rd, something started to happen that was very interesting for me. Now, if you have any kind of mental disorders like mine where you can face overwhelm, it can manifest in different ways. You can have outbursts of anger, like in my case, or you can get anxiety, you can be frozen, you can go into a fight or flight mode. But after my 19th session, I noticed that it wasn't that I wasn't getting overwhelmed. It was that in those moments, I started finding that I was able to step out. Not just calm myself, but to really leave myself. It sounds a little kooky, I guess, unless you have it, but a lot of times, if you're facing some sort of overwhelm and your brain starts to spin out of control, it's very hard to just stop. But I noticed that at those moments when the emotional and mental intensity was rising and I started to feel like my emotions were starting to come out of my control, I suddenly found myself able to not just get calm, but really get a real assessment of the situation. To almost step out of myself, assess what was going on, reevaluate what I was doing, and take steps to mitigate the increased rise in negative emotions. It wasn't just the fact that it happened, but the fact that I was clear and focused and cognizant of the entire process. Now, this ability comes and goes. And after my 20th session on September 10th, I noticed that it was continuing to oscillate. I would have these moments of clarity. Those instances are coming with increased frequency, and the ability to hold on to my mental track is starting to get more and more facile. Now, of course, this starts to feel inside my head in a similar way to how I've said before, my depressive spiral down in terms of my mental track would dead end and eventually be repulsed from its old ways. The same thing is starting to happen. I'm starting to feel like the old behavior is starting to become unfamiliar. I'm really enjoying it. Now, while I am very optimistic about what the Mind Program is going to continue to help me to do, I know full well it is not magic, it is science, it is part of the equation. I have to continue to keep putting in the work on myself. And that is the biggest advisor I think I can continue to convey to all of you. The Mind Program continues to give me the biggest leg up, the biggest advantage I've ever had. Getting onto the keto diet has given me more energy and mental clarity, and that I am continuing on faithfully now almost 5 months. But the Mind Program can help you get to where your willpower simply will not bring you. I think that's the best way I could phrase it so far. So I continue to put the work in on myself, and not just put everything on the machine and think it's going to solve all my problems, but I continue to be optimistic. So far I'm seeing fantastic results, and I can't wait to see what happens as I go forward. So that concludes this entry in my Mind Program journal. I will of course return next month with another entry after I've had another 4 sessions. If you have any questions or comments for me, you can leave them down in the comment section below. And if you want to know more about the Mind Program, be sure to check down in the description for links to the Phi Center and all other pertinent information. Take care, everybody.